Hello and welcome back to On Air with Dr. Pete. I'm your host, Dr. Pete Economo, and I am thrilled to be back with you here today. I'm really excited about today's guest. We run in a lot of the same worlds, although he's in a different conference, and we'll talk about that in a second. But in the college landscape of sports, really excited for this guest, Walker Ferguson. Welcome to the show today. He's a student athlete at Wake Forest, a budding entrepreneur, and he's a passionate advocate for mental wellness. As if playing football at Wake Forest wasn't impressive enough, he's the co-founder of Ascend Meditations. It's the first of its kind. It's AI-powered wellness app that delivers personalized meditation sessions designed for creating mindfulness and enhancing mental resilience. So tune in because we're going to define that for you. We're going to hear how his journey from football field led to becoming the president of a wellness app. This is something I really can get behind because if you've listened to the show before, you know, or any of my shows or any of my papers or books, you know that wellness is there and it's so important on college campuses. So welcome to the show, Walker.
I appreciate you having me on, Dr. Pete.
Yeah, it's awesome. I just have to say, when I was a college athlete, sports are they're demanding and consuming, but I can't imagine also running a company and building an app and all that stuff during it.
Yeah, it's been a lot, but it's been a fun ride. Wouldn't change a thing.
Yeah. Well, we say that, but I think maybe we'll kind of break that down a little bit. But so you're down at Wake Forest, and you are tell us about your kind of athletic journey and how you came to this.
Yeah, so growing up, I'm from Richmond, Virginia. I lived in the same house my whole life. Played literally everything with the ball growing up: baseball, football, basketball, lacrosse, you name it.
Yeah.
And my sister was actually like the big swimmer. I can't swim to save my life, so she kind of took that realm, and I stayed on the land. But
Yeah.
when I got to high school, I really focused on football and lacrosse. I
Yeah.
always actually thought I was going to play lacrosse in college.
Uh-huh.
And then, I didn't get to play my junior year, didn't play club in that summer. Roster spots got cut from 12 to 4. And luckily, my junior tape was good enough for football, and Wake Forest had offered me. So I ended up going to Wake for football and majored in economics there and minored in communications. And here we are now. I'm a second semester senior now.
Can you really not swim?
I can. I mean, I'm not good. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I can get like a couple laps in me before I start
Okay,
getting
but life's
gassed.
like you could swim, but just not like your sister with like 2 hours of back and forth.
Yeah, like she swam at Colgate, so she's like an actual swimmer. I
Yeah.
was not competitive enough. I can float though.
Yeah.
I'm not going to drown.
Well, I think sometimes in terms of life after sport or just finances, you made a better decision. As a former swimmer, I can say that I'm allowed to say that I know where we belong on the totem pole, and that's
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, but as long as you can actually get the swimming in. So yeah, so athletics is in your family.
Yes, sir. My dad actually played football at Wake as well,
Oh, how cool is
from
that?
'85 to '90. So like we got a little legacy going now, which is cool.
That is really cool. So how does that work out? I mean, is he same position?
Not even close. My dad's
Okay,
six
that's good.
seven. I'm 6'2". He played offensive line.
Okay,
He's a big boy, and
yeah,
I played wide receiver and safety. So a little
nice.
bit different.
Okay.
Um, look the same though.
Oh, I love that. It's probably better you don't play the same position, but I'm sure he still had some advice for you on what to do and what not to do.
100%. A lot with the mindset and emotional intelligence for sure.
Yeah, that's what parents are for. That's for sure. So I've heard that you talk about the life lessons that sports taught you. What would you say is the biggest lesson, from sports at this point in your life?
Yeah, I think it all comes down to two words: discipline and consistency.
Mhm.
First off, like discipline, doing the hard things that nobody wants to do and doing those things when you don't want to do them. I mean, that's what sports teaches you, right?
Yeah.
I've had so many times in my life, especially with football, because it's a game of inches. And, football's another game too, where you're always constantly developing your body, whether
Hmm.
that's high school, whether that's college. The kids ahead of you are always, they're built bigger, they're stronger, they lift more weights, they're faster, and you're constantly catching up to be able to get onto the field.
Yeah.
And to be able to do that, you have to have those two key words. And the consistency is the biggest thing in my life because every single day showing up and being the same person. Every day, wake up at 6 a.m., go to the gym, read a book. I've started this new thing called the 30-30-30.
Yeah.
Wake up, do 30 minutes of meditation, 30 minutes of reading, and 30 minutes of running.
Yeah.
And it's staying consistent with your schedule. And that leads to results, right? So I would say throughout my entire sports journey, especially through Wake Forest, the biggest victories, life lessons all came from being consistent, having discipline. And that
Mhm.
eventually led to growing Ascend and starting this company, especially, regarding time management and how to make sacrifices.
Yeah. What motivates you for that? I mean, that sounds good, and in the world of football, there's lots of great logos everywhere, like every locker room and team meeting room, and so consistency and discipline is a nice logo. What motivates you to do that and to show up for that every day?
I'd say it's my purpose, like knowing why I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
I think once a man figures out his why,
Mm-hmm.
you kind of get out of your bed every morning by default, and that's kind of what keeps me going. Right? There's
Yeah.
so many people in my life that have sacrificed for me to get to where I am,
Yeah.
and based on the respect I have for them, I'm not gonna not seize every single opportunity I possibly can and work as hard as I possibly can, honoring and glorifying the Lord with my talents. To
Yeah.
not, you know what I mean. So that's kind of what gets me in the morning, keeps me going towards the goal. And Stephen Conway wrote a really good book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
Yeah.
And the second one is begin with the end in mind, right? And I always like to begin with the end in mind and know where I'm going, have that vision, and that's
Yeah.
what I get out of bed regardless every morning because of that.
I love that. Your generation's so good at all these things too. And like the 30, 30, 30. Like there's all these things that
Yeah,
I keep learning about every day. It's good though.
yeah. I just made that one up. I've never seen that one actually, but I was
I've
just like,
well, I don't know. One of my staff members is doing something right now. I think it's like a 75. So it's like
okay,
75 days, but it's like 2 times 45 workouts. So maybe it's a 90. I don't know. It's somehow added up, and I'm just like, I don't know. It all sounds tiring, but again, if you have something that's guiding you towards motivation, then that's what's important.
100%.
Yeah. So I love that you said that. It's sports. It's really a series of losses and victories. Football is a sport of inches. Have you experienced significant wins and losses in your life?
100%. I think the biggest wins, especially in college,
Yeah.
the biggest wins were freshman year. My freshman year, we played NC State at home to go to the ACC championship, and
Nice.
when we won that game, we were 11-3 that year. We ended up losing the Pitt in the ACC championship, but beating NC State and watching, that was the only time my entire 4 years there that Wake students like actually rushed the field, and the
Yeah.
entire field was rushed for football. There was nothing like it.
Yeah.
Kids were getting carried up. Everyone was so happy that night, and we were on top of the world. And that
Yeah.
21 season is arguably the best season Wake Forest football has ever had. I'm so fortunate to be a part of that my freshman
Sure.
year. Sophomore year comes around, things are going really good. We're 6-0 to start out. We have a double overtime loss against Clemson, and everything else kind of starts dipping. But we
Yeah.
still had a really good winning season. Went to a bowl game, won and got another ring. And then my junior and senior year, we were 4-8. Like, we just
Mhm.
completely flipped the switch. Our quarterback Sam Hartman went to Notre Dame,
Mhm.
lost a lot of guys to the NFL, and things weren't going right. But understanding where you're at when you're winning and how that feels, and then understanding where you are when you're not winning, but still
Absolutely.
being able to work with your team towards a common goal is the most important thing. So I definitely learned a lot of life lessons, and I learned a lot through those 4 years of football on how to have resilience and keep moving forward in the face of adversity.
Yeah, it's key. I mean, that's what makes an athlete is understanding how to get back up. And so, what are you studying at Wake?
Economics, and now minoring in communications.
You're going to be a smart, successful financial man.
It's funny. I actually, if I could go back in time, I would have majored in philosophy.
Uh, yeah, I
Learned
know
that,
you wouldn't. I wouldn't have let. Yeah, I would have encouraged you not
That's
to.
funny. Yeah. Probably would have done that though in minor in entrepreneurship, but
Yeah,
here
maybe
we
the
are
other way
now.
around. You could. I'm a professor, so
Yeah.
the professor jobs, and especially in some of these arts sort of philosophy situations. But I hear you. I don't want to. I don't want to burst your bubble right away, but I think you made the right decision. I actually joke and say I wish I went into business or studied business differently.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So sometimes some of my mentees now, I encourage them to like look at different journals or just ways that they can become successful across discipline.
Yeah.
But some of these more light science kind of philosophical uh, areas, there are not many jobs out there.
Until unless you create your own company, learn how people think.
Amen, amen. Well, there's
Yeah.
your entrepreneurship and your
Yeah.
economics, and so that will help you with all that. So I love that. So firsthand, physical and mental demands as a former college athlete. It can certainly be overwhelming, and that's my world. Kind of helping people manage stress. Started off in athletes, but also in the business world now. I only wish I had some of the tools that colleges now have. I mean, I have a team at university of 9 providers.
Wow.
And this is something that I'm really passionate about because you need to have kind of diversity and of all things, in this. So, what's your experience in college been, and how did you come up with this app?
Yeah. So to preface back a little bit, when I came in the summer of 2021, I had a roommate named Hampton Tanner who is my like best friend brother. We had a lot of synergy right away. Moms were both realtors. Dads both came from, broke farming families in the middle of nowhere. His Georgia, mine Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
So right away, it was just one of those relationships. I'm sure you've had those in your life. And
Sure.
we just started bouncing ideas off each other. We were like, do we want to do a restaurant? Do we want a brewery? Like we just would stay up all night, even before like a 5 a.m. lift, like just talk. So nothing, obviously we're young freshmen, nothing ever kind of stuck. Sophomore year comes around and we're both in a pretty low spot. We're still not traveling, still on scout team, farthest thing from playing.
Right.
Got out of a 4-year relationship. Things on the home front were great. And he was going through a lot of stuff in his life as well. And that's when I first learned how to breathe. I'm a Christian guy, so I meditated a lot on scripture and on the word to start.
Beautiful.
Hampton's a lot into stoicism. Read the book Meditations, Marcus Aurelius, loves body scans, all that good stuff. And we were teaching each other, right? But lucky for us, we actually had a free subscription to Calm through our athletic department through Wake Forest. Yeah. And that's through the ACC. So every ACC school actually gives a free subscription to athletes for Calm. Yeah. And I loved how it gave base meditations, base sleep stories, but nothing felt like individual for what I was going through, right? Obviously, nobody beats a Matthew McConaughey or an Adam Sklar voice, but the content wasn't there, right?
Yeah.
So long story short, Hampton's like, dude, I got to get out of here. He transfers to Georgetown. So at this point, he's at Georgetown. He's going through a whole self-discovery period. Sure. I'm figuring things out at Wake. And he calls me in February of 2024. And he said, Walker, I know what we're going to do. I'm like, all right, what's that? He's like, we're going to create a AI-powered meditation app that offers people personalized meditations, personalized sleep stories. And then later what we developed meditation plans where essentially an athlete can put in a specific goal and how they're going to achieve that goal, basically like actual steps. And it'll actually break up like a plan for you to be able to see yourself succeeding, right, over time. Which is huge. And a lot of athletes have actually been using that because as we know, as athletes, everything starts in the mind.
Absolutely.
So at that point, the idea was kind of conceived. We just wrote it out on a vision board and we're like, how do we get to this point? Right. And I can go into that, but a lot of things really fell into place. Like I said, life's all about relationships and synergy. I'm just so thankful for everyone that's come to our path and to get where we are.
Yeah. So go into that then. So the mission of the app is really about like quality of life, addressing mental health challenges, and then AI empower. Yeah. Many listeners, including myself as the host of this show, might not understand how that even works. And so help the old folk out here.
No, 100%. So the mission is to essentially help individuals live a happier, healthier life. We were starting with athletes to start, right? So I got away from reaching out to our niche, right? We got accepted to a startup lab, and they're like, dude, you got to hone in on these people first, right? Help your target market because that's who you are. That's why you created the app. And what did I do? I did the exact opposite. I started reaching out to people that have been meditating for 30, 40 plus years who already have a practice, which isn't our ideal client. Targeting that back, right now we're actually talking to a couple of universities to get into their athletic department like Calm did, right? Mm-hmm. So now it will be like a send for athletes. But essentially the mission was to have an app that I wish I would have had. So athletes can reduce stress and also gain a mindful edge to see themselves performing through like visualization practices, because as we know, everything starts in the mind. Essentially how the app works, though, to answer your question, is as of right now, this is going to look a little bit different in the next 6 weeks when the new, when the 2.0 comes out. Mm-hmm. But with the MVP, there's a big blue button. So when you open up when you see that big blue button, it says create meditation. You hit create meditation, and then you can type in like literally anything you're going through. Like I could say, about to go on Dr. Pete's podcast, a little bit nervous, could give me a meditation to help me calm down and perform my best. After that, you select a voice and a background and then a length for your meditation. And after that, within 5 to 10 seconds, you'll actually spit that out on the spot, your own personalized meditation for what you're going through. And then the other part too is like, what if you don't have anything going on, right? Like what if you don't have a query that you want? You just want a suggestion. You take a quiz at the beginning with some base information, your meditation experience, and then what are your goals for the app, right? Is improve focus, reduce stress, cultivate a sense of gratitude, whatever that may be. And then it'll actually spit out suggestions too on a suggestions bar. So you have, meditation content. Going into that further, sleep stories. We liked how Calm had sleep stories and they were amazing. And we're still working on how to refine those and make those better. But essentially it's the same process. There's a big blue button that says create sleep story. You give it a genre, you give it a theme, you give it a setting, and then you give it any other info. So like you can make yourself the character of the story. So I made one last night. Me and Hampton were in like the woods, like just being like guys and like having a good time. And like we actually created, it actually spit out our names in the sleep story. Same process, length, meditate or voice, background, and spits that sleep story out for you on the spot.
Wow.
And then the last function is, like I said, the meditation plans. Essentially the screen, you put in a specific goal. The more specific you make it, the better your plan's going to be. Right now we have short plans, which are 12 days, and long plans, which are 20 days. And once you put in that goal, it takes 5 to 10 minutes, but it'll actually break up a specific plan broken up into different meditations for you to see yourself achieving this goal and getting closer to that. And essentially the way it works is, as we know, I'm sure you're very familiar with ChatGPT and a lot of other AIs. When you ask it a question, when you ask a specific anything into that, it will pull some information online essentially, and it will
Right.
spit that out for whatever question you may ask. Our developers meshed a form of AI that they created with Microsoft Azure for voices.
Mm-hmm.
And then with the lines, they went in and figured out the specific spacing to make sure the meditation content was right and it would actually be delivered the right way, as well as the sleep stories, and then connected that with the voices. So essentially, it's like a chat GPT where you can put in any prompt and it will spit that out for you on the spot for you to be able to create a meditation.
With that
So
big blue button, that sounds like really, really, really cool. What have you noticed about improvements in your own well-being? Or you and Hampton, you guys talking about it? What do you guys notice personally that's affected your all's well-being?
Yeah, no, I absolutely love the fact that I can create a meditation on the spot for wherever I'm at, no matter what I'm going through throughout the day. If I'm going to the gym, I can hit a walking meditation before I walk in, right,
Mm-hmm.
to get my mind right. If I use it every night before I go to bed. I mean, I could set up my day, for the next day. And then what I love the most too, and really helped me when I was playing football, as well as Hampton and a couple of our other buddies, is that plan feature.
Mm-hmm.
Being able to visualize our success and see it in the mind and see the actual steps that it would take to get us to achieve our goal is crucial, especially as athletes.
Sure.
But it's definitely improved my overall well-being, for sure. Definitely would say I live a happy, healthy life with huge cultivation of gratitude. And a lot of that is to Ascend because it's my passion. That's what gets me out of bed every morning and wanting to keep growing it and get it better.
Entrepreneurship at its best. So what's the end goal, the end and that vision board? What was up there for the end goal of Ascend?
We never want to be a $1 billion company. We want to be a company that helped 1 billion people live happier, healthier lives.
I like that.
That's the end goal.
Yeah.
That's all there ever was, serving others.
I love that. Yeah. You guys are really doing an incredible thing, for athletes and professionals. And you're going to start with the athletes and then kind of see where it goes. And I could say that's sort of how my career worked. I started with athletes and now, working with business executives and all different types of people, which is nice because it is about, servant leadership. And I love that. So I'm really glad that you've shared this app with our listeners. So where can everyone find you in the app?
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram. If you just search up Walker Ferguson, everything Ascend related is all under ascendapp.ai, LinkedIn, Facebook, as well as Instagram. And then if you just search up Ascend Meditations in the App Store, you can download the app, create an account, let us know what you think. And that is going to look different. I definitely want to preface within the next 6 weeks to make the user experience and flow a lot better, as well as adding homepage and information page. And then if you guys want to look at the website, just search up Ascend Meditations online. You can learn more about us. And if you want to contact me, it's Walker Ferguson at ascendmeditations.app.
Well, thanks. We'll have all that in the show notes too. And, it's really an inspiration. Hopefully all the other student athletes out there listening to this and realizing that you can, you can do whatever, you can ascend as long as you put your mind to it and get your mind right. So Walker, I appreciate you, man. Thanks for being here.
I appreciate you, Dr. Pete. Thanks for having me on.
So thank you all for listening. Our goal, as always, is to share inspirational stories. If you have a show topic and you'd like for us to explore, please head on over to officialdrpete.com. Send us your thoughts. And as always, please follow, and share at Official Dr. Pete. Thank you again for being here. And until I see you next week, until then, spread a little kindness and stay well.